Hey folks, this is Gray here, and today we're going to be talking about MREs and do they make a great addition to your emergency preparedness plan? The reason I'm doing this video, honestly, is over the last year or so, I've get tons and tons of emails in regards to asking me questions about MREs, their shelf life. Do they make a great asset to have in an emergency? What are my thoughts, and so on and so forth. So today we're going to kind of talk about MREs in general. And how do I say this? Are they an asset to an emergency preparedness plan? And the short answer, yes. The long answer is a little bit more complicated, hence why we're doing this video. So also in this video, what I'll do is I'll share the way I use MREs in my emergency preparedness plan, where I purchase components of MREs instead of whole MREs, and how to save a few bucks on that if you're interested in utilizing MREs in your emergency preparedness plan. And we'll kind of touch on that subject as well. MREs pretty much found their place on the battlefield as something quick and easy for a soldier to consume that's high caloric. For some of you folks that have been in the military, you probably don't fancy MREs too much, especially if you've ate them on a continuous basis. So MREs can be a fantastic resource, and what I mean by that is they're designed to do a specific purpose, which is to provide a high caloric meal that's ready to eat. In my personal perspective, I think everybody should have a couple cases of MREs in their emergency preparedness pantry. Now, I kind of want to go over some pros and cons in regards to MREs specifically, because you don't want to eat MREs on a consistent basis for, let's say, 2 weeks straight. You will definitely regret it. So what's the shelf life of MREs in general? Most MREs have a shelf life of about 5 years, but if you do some research, you can find that they last way beyond that. It's just like with most things. Let's say like your canned goods behind me. There's ways to tell if an MRE has gone bad. So a lot of people will ask, what happens to an expired MRE? So the same common sense kind of corresponds to, let's say, canned goods. If you have a can of meat or something like that and it's bulging or damaged or whatnot, it's probably not safe to eat. So you have to use good judgment on things like this when it comes to food that you're consuming. So basically when you open up an MRE, you want to check the components to make sure they're not damaged, they're not punctured or swelling. Those are kind of some of the signs you want to look for. Now, MREs will turn color and be somewhat unappetizing, but most of the time it will still retain all of its nutritional value. Now, there's hearsay in regards to some people say it will not retain its nutritional value, and the other side of the aisle, some folks will say it does retain its nutritional value. You be the judge. Like I said, it's all about common sense when it comes to stuff like this. Because there is some truth that things over time do lose or do decrease in nutritional value. Just like with medications that you store for long term. Let's say if you're storing antibiotics for emergencies and whatnot, and it's 100 milligram of amoxicillin, over a certain amount of time, it's going to lose its potency and maybe be only 80%, retain 80% of its effectiveness. So hopefully that kind of helps explain a little bit about their shelf life and what to look for if something's damaged or bad. Now, some folks out there are going to ask me, hey Gray, do you think MREs are healthy? And I'll be honest, folks, look, MREs serve a purpose. It's a high caloric, dense meal to keep you going in an emergency. Some folks may ask, where do I buy MREs at? Because some folks are interested in having some MREs like myself in their prepper pantry. Now, if you're looking for them and you look on Amazon, you're probably going to find them probably for $12 to $15 a piece. And you have to buy a case, which can run about 130 bucks. And if you ask a lot of folks that have had to eat MREs on a consistent basis, has been on a battlefield or on a training exercise, a lot of times we'll just break them down. Because this is kind of huge, but the components inside are very small. So sometimes what most people will do, they'll take something like this, the components of the MRE, basically the meal and sides and whatnot, and just kind of pack those. So what I want to do is also explain how I utilize MREs. I prefer to purchase the components of MREs than full-size MREs. I do have several cases of MREs just because I've been privy to a lot of friends that are still in the military and offered them to me for, little to nothing. But when I purchase MREs, I don't really purchase the whole thing. I like to buy the components. So let's say this is beef stew. And let's say you're like myself and you're a prepper and you have, 300 or 400 pounds of rice. Well, I will take something like this and add it to the rice and create a high caloric dense meal to give me the energy to move forward through this, trying time. For instance, let's say it's a hurricane or something like that, and I got to go out and I got to clear a bunch of debris and chop down trees and just do a lot of repairs and stuff like that, I need something extremely dense that's easily ready to eat. So sure, maybe I'll have to cook the rice, but if I just want this, I can just eat this as well. But usually I like to do is supplement my other foods with something like this. So I'll take this beef stew and pour it over rice, kind of mix it together, and again, I got my high caloric dense meal. Is it the most healthy? Probably not, but it's going to give me the energy and the sustenance that I need to move forward to get things done. So basically, folks, MREs are for a situation to be eaten in a crisis where you need food. A lot of people always come across a channel when I do certain videos and say, I'll never eat that. But those are probably the people that have never either been in a starving situation or in a crisis situation where they don't have access or readily accessible food. And if this came across their table, if they're hungry, they're going to eat it. But if you're looking for an affordable option and you want to just pick up, like, say, some entrees and sides, I get these at Army Navy Outdoors. I started working with these folks when I came across their website. They're based out of Texas, and they're really great people. I picked up a 24-pack of, of entrees and sides. So a 24-pack basically broke down, it was about $50, and it breaks down to about $2 a pouch or something like that. So the pricing was pretty decent compared to paying, let's say, $130 for a case of MREs on Amazon, or, you know, going to the commissary on base and paying roughly about, you know, $10 per. So then you get, let's say you get 24 and that'd be $240. So you can see how the price can fluctuate depending on where you purchase that and what you have access to. But when it comes to Army Navy Outdoors, I've done a video for them a while back on building your own IFAC. And I think it was pretty well received from the community in regards to what you can get and how you can build your own stuff. I like Army Navy Outdoors, again, because, you know, it's a reputable company based out of Texas, and you can kind of get the things that you need. When it comes to the MRE section of their website, you can pick up individual MREs, you can pick up the XMREs, you can pick up, like I said, the sides, and build your own thing. You have the option to build what you want to spend in regards to what you need for you and your family. Maybe you don't need a pallet, but if you wanted to buy a pallet from them, they had that offer available to you as well. But if you're like me and just want to, you know, buy a few here and there just to add to your prepper pantry, then that's another great option, and they're very affordable. I mean, like I said, they break down to a couple of bucks a piece per pouch. So it's not too bad. Anyways, folks, I know this wasn't the most exciting topic in the world, but I figured it's very informational and may help some of you folks make a determination in regards to, are MREs a viable source for your emergency preparedness plan? As well as, you know, are they cost effective? You know, where's the best place to buy them? And a little bit of background information on, you know, storage and what you get and price points and stuff like that. So I hope you got some value out of this. If you got any value out of the video at all, if you could hit that thumbs up button, it would be greatly appreciated. And as always, if you're new here, take a chance to subscribe and check out the rest of the channel. And at any time at all, if you have any questions in regards to the content or context of this video in general, please put that down in the comments and I will try to answer those questions to the best of my ability. So my question to you, my viewers out there watching this video, or other folks that may come across this video, do any of you folks out there have MREs in your prepper pantry or store them for emergencies? Outside of that, folks, remember, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys in a rebound. God bless all you amazing people out there. And again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video.